Pornlime is an absolute legend in the Warwick community right now, and if you aren't checking him out, you definitely should for two different reasons. First of all, he just hit 1300 LP challenger, top 50 on the ladder in EU as a Warwick main, as a Warwick one trick. Second of all, he actually streams, he actually posts videos consistently, a concept that's completely foreign to me right now. Believe me guys, I'm going to try my best to post more, but he's doing it. So in this video, I'm wanting to break down one of his recent games. I actually went through a couple of VODs of his to try to uncover some of his most common gameplay tactics and strategies that he uses to carry the game and climb so consistently. So let me know what you guys think, and I hope you enjoy the video. All right, so the matchup is Warwick versus Aatrox top. It's a matchup that's actually not really super easy for Warwick. I'd argue that it's like kind of unfavorable because it's just difficult to snowball off of Aatrox. So I'm curious to see. Well, I already actually like kind of saw this VOD, at least the early game, so I know how it goes. Spoiler. It doesn't really start off well, which actually makes the game a little bit more interesting. Because in a lot of the games that I post on this channel is really just me stomping lane and snowballing off of that. Pornlime finds himself, you know, behind in this game and manages to come back and make something happen. So, like right now, we just did like an even invade, but he's down both subs, has no ghost, no TP. He wasn't able to get anything off of that assist that he got. He didn't get the kill. So he's lacking in that. Now Aatrox, of course, doesn't have flash, so that's good. But he is behind TP right now. He's able to get early push. I'm not sure how he actually normally plays into Aatrox, whether he goes for early push or not. I think generally speaking, Warwick top likes to get early push just because lane bullies usually just want to have, you know, get level 2 first. And you just want to try to zone off. You want to try to like slow push the wave in. That way you can deny each and every CS. You don't want to push it too fast or else the enemy top laner is going to have, you know, they're going to be able to, you know, just sit back and farm safely. Granted right here, the wave is just kind of big because Aatrox was late to lane, which is fine. He puts a point in his W. Seconds. He sometimes puts a point in E seconds if the enemy top laner is trying to fight him. But because Aatrox is playing passive, he's going W in order to CS a lot easier. And now he's just crashing in the wave. He goes for a little cheesy Q there. I always like queuing under the turret in this situation versus someone like Aatrox who doesn't really have much kill pressure over you. You want to just try to chunk him down and I mean, it's really just an even trade, but one that's is kind of more of a winning trade for Warwick just because you're able to lifesteal off minions. So when this wave comes, he's able to just lifesteal back up, so that turret shot doesn't really matter too much. And now he's really just going to probably look to, well, actually I take it back. He goes for a trade on Aatrox. Look at how he prioritizes. He tries to focus on dodging Aatrox's Q more than anything in these trades, because that's all Aatrox really has. And the Aatrox matchup, I think that's generally how you want to play out trades, is you want to try to dodge his first Q, avoid the sweet spot on his second Q, and then you can use your Q to avoid the sweet spot on his third Q. But right here, really, he was just a little bit overextended. He was trying to, you know, trade with Aatrox and get something, but Viego was able to kill him. I think the mistake here is that he could have, like, held off on attacking a couple minions and let the wave push into him a little bit sooner. Because he was just kind of like put himself in a bad position. He should have been a little bit more patient to let the wave, you know, push into him and so he can get a freeze off. Because usually what you're looking for right there on Warwick versus most matchups is just a freeze level 4. Of course, you do have to be careful about getting ganked there, but at least you can force jungle pressure, even if you're not able to hold the freeze. So now he comes back, is just farming under turret, isn't able to actually get anything off his recall, which is very sad. The build that he opts for, by the way, right now, You can see he's running grass, but I'll actually just go ahead and just show the runes right now he runs at the moment. Doesn't go Presence of Mind, which is interesting. I always am a big fan of Presence of Mind. I think it's like needed on Warwick. But you'll notice that his skill order is, he goes Q, W, E, and then he's just maxing out W. He doesn't put any more points in his Q. And this actually is just going to save him a lot of mana in lane. So he isn't going to really need the Presence of Mind as much throughout the game, because he's going to max Q last. And Q is your main mana sink. So he's just trying to get this wave shoved in, presumably so that he can hold a freeze versus the Aatrox. But he just kind of trades pretty badly here, huh? Trades pretty badly. He does get level 6, but still not what we were really looking for there. Ults to avoid the second Q from Aatrox. Tries to potentially dodge his third Q with his Q, but just kind of gets caught up in a weird situation here. Gets outspaced by the Aatrox and dies. We're now 0-2 in a bad position. He has Tiamat now, but I mean, we just popped our Ghost. We have no Ghost. Our TP is coming up soon. But again, Aatrox is a matchup that's not really easy. It's hard to snowball versus this champion because he's just so tanky and has a lot of range. And Warwick is a champion that likes to snowball. So in a lot of times in this situation, I'm not going to be able to do anything. I'm not able to carry because I'm a player that really needs to win lane and snowball off of that. Hornline, on the other hand, doesn't really need to win lane. I actually see him, you know, a lot of times die, you know, have like pretty bad deaths, or just like isn't able to really like generate a lead in his lane. But that's just because he's not playing for lane. He's not playing Warwick for lane. He still plays aggressive. He still plays aggressive and tries to find leads where he can. But he's someone that is definitely able to recover from bad situations and doesn't really care if he falls super far behind the lane, because he's playing more for the mid game. That's what the summoner spells are for. He's not going flash barrier. He's going ghost TP. And you'll see exactly why here in a bit. And again, he's maxing W as well. He's not putting points in his Q. He's not putting like he's just maxing W, which is going to give him more all-in power, but it's also going to give him more roaming power as well. And it's going to save a lot of his mana. His poke's going to be slightly weaker, but the attack speed and movement speed is going to be really nice. Right here, he just ults in order to chunk the Aatrox more than anything. Now he's able to just all in him under turret. No problem. Walks away here. Lifesteal's off of the wave. So he's able to get a solo kill back. A lot of stats in his W. Like it's really helpful to have all his points in his W versus someone like Aatrox is super tanky. And now he's just going to look to recall here, I believe. Or no, I guess he's going over to help the Grave secure the Rift Herald. He plays around his team. He's someone who helps make sure that his team is able to, you know, make winning plays all the time. He's not selfish. Like right there, if you can guarantee that you get the Rift Herald, that's going to be good. You'd rather not risk the chance that's like enemy jungler like contest Graves and you end up losing the Herald, because Rift Herald is just worth too much, especially the first Rift Herald. Right here just tries to gank the Aatrox. Get some chunks. Aatrox kind of ints there, not gonna lie. Like, but we're able to get a kill off of that, which is great. So now we're kind of back in the lane. We're back in the lane. Just smart trades. Really the key thing here versus Aatrox is that Aatrox has been kind of pushing in, and that allows Warwick to all in him a lot more. And like you're not able to really do too much versus Aatrox when he's under turret, but when Aatrox is overextended, then you're actually able to utilize your W max and just straight up out DPS the champion. So he's gonna recall early turret. Early turret is something that Hornline definitely loves. with how he plays. He's going for an early Titanic Hydra. We're going Tankwick. He's going Tankwick build these days. He's going Titanic Hydra into Iceborne Gauntlets, and we're playing tank build. So what is his strategy? How does he get leads in his games? He tries to get early turret if he can. And if he can, it's great. Pushes out the lane and just looks to roam, looks to make plays. He's got Ghost, he's got TP, he's got W maxed out, and he's gonna be a threat. When he has his ultimate up, he's gonna be a threat and able to like make picks anywhere he can. It's just like jungle Warwick, except for you don't have to deal with, you know, being bad in the jungle. He's losing a wave top lane, but he just got 2 kills, 3 kills, which is easily worth it. He's gonna reset, loses a second wave, no problem. TP's back to lane. He's going with early Swifties as well. He loves Swifty boots. Now, Swifty boots on Warwick's actually very, very good, because even though the boots themselves aren't really that strong in general compared to other boots in the game, they are very strong in Warwick because Warwick's base movement speed is kind of low compared to other melee champions in the game. Like, it's really low. And that's like one of his weaknesses, is in combat movement speed. But because you get extra movement speed with Swifties, you essentially eliminate that weakness that Warwick has. It really just kind of gets away, you know, or helps like Warwick deal with one of his weaknesses. Ideally, Warwick, you know, if Warwick's base movement speed got buffed, I would be very, very happy. I think that's actually one way that they could buff Warwick, so that his base movement speed isn't less than a lot of champions in the game. But this is Hornlime's way of getting around it by just buying Swifties. Now suddenly you don't have this issue anymore. Now you're able to actually stick on the targets when you're auto attacking them. Very, very key on an auto attack dependent champion like Warwick. And now what does he do? He's got the Titanic Hydra. He's just going to hard shove the lane out. When his ultimate's up, he's going to look to roam. Aatrox is pinned to his lane, having to clear out this wave. His wave clear is not as good, not as fast as Works. You don't hear that super often, but when you have Titanic Hydra, Warwick is able to just completely murder waves. And he's just constantly looking to shove out the lane and just have a tempo advantage. He's able to show up anywhere on the map with TP, Ghost, W, Alt. And he's able to just make plays. Like that's really just the core signature to Hornlime's playstyle at the moment. He always has push, and he's always able to show up. He makes smart roams too. He's not forcing anything super hard. Right here, he's able to, you know, cover the mid wave and still pressure bot lane. But he wants to play with his team and try to find an advantage somewhere. Like right here, Syndra, a little bit overextended with Graves. He's going to work with his jungler, get a free kill. Pick that up. Now he's going to shove out mid lane. Sylas can cover top lane. No worries there. Get a plate with Demolish. And with Graves, yeah, you just work with the Graves. Work with the Graves. Play to your advantage. Pressure the map. Screw top lane at this point, because heals mid lane. Might as well like make a play happen. Let Sylas cover. Sylas actually got solo kill there, which is really nice. And now I'm not sure if he's actually going to end up recalling. Not sure what his gold looks like. Yeah, it looks like he recalls. Okay, so he ends up purchasing a couple components for his Iceborne. Doesn't fully have it yet, but is going to just go ahead and reset while his ult's on cooldown. No TP. He's just kind of chilling here in base. I'm not sure. Okay, he was just waiting for his chain vest. He's going to go back top lane here. Same deal. Push out top lane. Look to pressure the map. And the thing is even though he's like ahead right now, like this is what he does in all of his games. I actually watched a VOD of him recently of him like getting completely stomped. He got like solo killed like 5 times by like a Cassiopeia. And he still was able to out pressure the Cassiopeia in the mid game because he's just able to just, you know, push out the lane, keep her like pinned top lane, force her to like, you know, focus on CS rather than using her lead. And he's going to be the first of the fight. So win or lose lane, this is why like he doesn't really care so much about lane phase. He tries to, you know, to snowball lane. He tries to play super aggressive and get leads if he can, but he's not overly conservative or anything. He's completely okay. I mean, he'd rather win lane, right? But he doesn't like, you know, super risk averse. He isn't scared of losing lane because he knows that by the time mid game comes around, he's going to have a stronger impact on the map than anyone else. Again, playing with his jungler, making a pick. This isn't just about like the jungler coming to gank his lane. This is him playing with the jungler. That's a key difference here. If the jungler wasn't up here, he would just push out top lane and look to make a play mid or bot lane. But because Graves is here, he's able to make the pick. Immediately, doesn't even have his ultimate up. TP's in because he sees that Zeri's super low. And is able to make a free pick. Push in with his bot lane, and they're going for a tower dive now. Warwick, by the way, really good at tower dives. Goes without saying. He has E maxed out seconds. It's W max into E max. Points in Q doesn't really do too much. It just increases the healing you get for the Q. But if people are building anti-heal versus you, then it doesn't end up really doing too much. The W and E is where all of Warwick's stats are. So you like, even though they're kind of inconsistent abilities, they're not really like his bread and butter. They're just generally speaking the best abilities to put points into. I still think that 3 points in a Q sometimes in lane is good, but I wouldn't ever do anything more than 3 points in Q in the laning phase for Warwick top lane. Really nice follow. Good work mechanics there on the Zeri, but just kites into his Seraphine and Soraka. This is actually like hell for the enemy team to play verse. They're up 7k gold right now. Warwick is fed and he's got a Soraka Seraphine to back him up. So even if they like build like anti-healing, which they're going to, I mean they're behind, so they don't really want to build anti-healing. But it's still just not gonna be enough because he just healed too much. He's got his E maxed out almost. He's very tanky. It's gonna be impossible to kill this dude. And you can just see like the impact that Ghost TP has on the mid game. Ghost gives him so much more playmaking potential. It gives him a lot better team fight, gives him a lot better like ability to chase, to run away, to skirmish in the mid game. Flash is great in lane. I'd say Flash in general is better in lane than Ghost, but it's not. It lacks a lot more versatility. Like Flash in like late game is all about like it's good for like diving the ADC, but that's basically it. Ghost like just gives you so much more skirmish potential. It allows you to catch up to fights and never get kited from anyone. And then TP, of course, just gives you just TP flanks. Allows you to constantly clear out the side lane without really missing out on anything. You're able to keep pushing and still have pressure on the map, which is massive. It gives you kill opportunities too that are sneaky. Something like Barrier, it's good for laning phase, but it's going to fall off. I think Barrier in some matchups is good. I would still like Barrier on Warwick, but this is like Hornlime is clearly his setup is clearly working for good reason. I think a lot of times this is actually the way to go on Warwick top lane right now. Barrier is more like situational depending on the matchup. If you're playing like a matchup where you can like really snowball the lane, then sure. But if you're playing against someone like Aatrox, which is more inconsistent, it's a little bit harder to snowball versus him. It's more reliant on him feeding for you to get leads. Then I would definitely go with this setup so you can play for the mid game, play for the team fight, and play for your team. Now, granted, he did get ahead in this matchup because Aatrox did kind of die a couple times, but even if he didn't get ahead, he was still actually in like a pretty good spot just because he was able to find the angles. He was still able to push out the lane. Like think about it from Aatrox's position. Aatrox this game really didn't really have anything going for him. Enemy team's tilted now too. They're pinging the Warwick. This dude's a monster. He's unkillable. He's got a 700 gold bounty and they can't even claim it because there's a Soraka and Seraphine backing him up as well. And the champion's too damn tanky, too damn fast with Ghost and Swifties. And also the Iceborne, by the way, really strong item in Warwick because you're able to Q and disengage like really easily. Like you're able to like, Q someone and not just stick onto them, but you're also able to Q and walk away, which is like something you don't really have access to with any other item. Like Warwick being able to like kind of go in and out is massive for the champion. And now we just group. When your team is ahead in solo queue, when you're able to just group and win, you group and win. Don't overcomplicate things. This is actually like one of like the biggest like issues that players have in solo queue. I think everyone's like, you know, pretty familiar with it. Like with like the top laner that just split pushes, even though you're like super ahead and can just group Baron or just group and end the game. Like there's no point in split pushing, especially without TP. Like if you have TP, like sure, but you might as well just not overcomplicate things. Not give the enemy team the ability to make anything happen. Like give them nothing to work with. Just group up, become an unstoppable force in the game. You don't need to split out bot lane or anything like that. You just need to pressure. You need to pressure the base and pressure Baron. That's all you need. They're not going to do anything with bot lane here. Once you get the Baron, then you can group bot lane. But again, you're grouping. Right here, he's just going to... He's trying to find a pick onto Aatrox here. He has his TP up. He's looking. He's looking for like anything he can do to help out his team. Makes a TP flank on the Aatrox here actually. And you got Black Cleaver. Black Cleaver is this next item here, which is interesting. I think he really just likes the CDR and damage. I actually feel like Black Cleaver is probably not best here because there's not like a lot of AD in his team right now. There's not a lot of armor in the team either. Like I think that Spear of Shojin is like technically a little bit better. I don't know what his gold looked like though. Yeah, so maybe he could only afford the Black Cleaver there. But I think in general the like Spear in the situation is a little bit better because it's like the same stats, just more stats. And like you lose out in the armor shred, but you don't need the armor shred right now basically for your team. But yeah, pretty quick, easy game. Tons of pressure in the mid game, and this is how he plays all his games. Win or lose lane, he's able to TP bot lane or roam mid, make a play, and just like the key thing is really is the Titanic Hydra pushing out the side lanes and just keeping his laner in lane so that he can have the first step and have tempo over the rest of the game. So that right there is Hornlime. I'll try to cover him a little bit more. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Again, check out his channel, check out his stream, check out his YouTube.